Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. It's been a little while since I've seen you guys. I had some major computer problems actually over kind of the last week where I thought I was going to lose everything, like all my videos, all my work that I've been doing for YouTube. But my boy Louie was able to repair my computer. Shouts out to Louie. If you guys want to drop a comment saying thank you, Louie, that would be super duper dope because he actually saved my life by recovering everything on my laptop after it kind of imploded. So I'm glad to be back, glad to see you guys again. I want to continue this kind of segment we've been doing where we looked at Janemba and Gogeta before. We did a segment called How Will X Impact the Game? So I want to continue that with Broly. I like doing this kind of segment because it lets me break up different things and focus on archetypes instead of doing like card reviews by spoilers where things are kind of all spitter spattered out into different realms. So I really like the segment of how will X impact the game, and you guys seem to really like it too. So I'm going to continue that here with Broly, the new Broly stuff coming out. Before I do get into that, I want to say if you're new to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button. It would really mean a lot to me, really help me out. Give that video a like if you really like the stuff we're doing here at Cross TCG. And if you've been a long-time fan, you can help me out on Patreon. My link for that is going to be in the description down below. For just $1 measly a month, you can help me continue bringing you guys the Dragon Ball Super content that you know and love. So with that being said, we'll get right into the Broly stuff. So a lot of big reactions over the Broly stuff over the past like week and a half. This stuff is, some of it's pretty crazy. Honestly, this green Broly leader, I'm not sure 100% how I feel about it. It's got some really neat interactions, but then again, it's also a little weird. So let's get right into it. So new starter deck Broly coming out. The starter deck is seeming like it's gonna be pretty solid. The cards in it are pretty cool. Let's read what he does. So Broly, activate main, shoot up to 1 green, freeze an army card with an energy cost of 4 from your deck, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck to get the effect. So you get a +1 one time, but I'm pretty sure that +1 in most cases is going to be enough to awaken you on that first turn. So you're going to draw like 4 cards off of just that one Broly you search, and then when you awaken at 4 life, draw 1 card, untap 1 energy. So interesting they decided to go with this awaken ability. On the backside, Broly Evil Unleashed. This is where it gets a little bit iffy. So permanent, if there are 2 more battle cards in play in your battle area, you cannot play battle cards. So you're not allowed to have wide boards with this leader, which is pretty interesting. What isn't interesting though is that you can technically go wide on your awakened side, and then if you flip over, you know, you can keep those battle cards, it seems like, from the way it's worded, but you can't play any more battle cards if you have more than 2. Auto Sparking 7. When this card attacks, draw until you have 6 cards in hand. So it's kind of weird, right? So 6 cards in Dragon Ball Super, honestly, not a lot of cards to have in hand. So when you swing this guy and you already have a big hand, you're not going to be doing too much with it. So I don't know if the archetype, I haven't really played around with it too much yet, but I don't know if the archetype is going to usually keep you around 4 cards in hand. Maybe with all the way you're spamming Brolys from your hand, maybe that will keep us maybe a lower hand size. So there are a few cards that this could be interesting with. So like you, for example, and it's a Sparking 7, so you have the 7 in your drop area, right? But what you can do is you can drop a Mirror Creator Absorbed, for example. You can attack with it, or maybe even like a Fu Shrouded. You combo with, you summon that, you attack with leader, you dump everything in your hand to push damage through, basically to force some damage through, and then you refuel back up the Sparking 7, assuming you had a bunch of cards in your hand, like, you know, 8, 7, 10 cards in hand. You dump all that into the Fu, you push damage through, and then your leader's auto is back up. Now you have like 1 or 0 cards in hand. You swing at the leader, draw 5 new cards, 6 new cards. That's pretty cool, but you force damage through. Maybe you put your opponent down to 2. Let's say you have like another double striker set up for the kill shot. Going in for a kill shot with 6 cards, unless it's like all super combos, is not really that huge a lot of times, especially if your opponent just picked up 2 cards from you forcing other damage through. So there's gonna be some weird interactions with this card. I'll have to play around with it more, but it's nifty. Activate main once per turn. Choose one of your battle cards and one of your opponent's battle cards. KO them. I like how this doesn't have necessarily an energy restriction, so anything like Cell Chain. This leader is going to be really good against Cell Chain. They're going to keep your hand low as low as possible throughout the entire game. Your leader just automatically recovers. I really like that. That's really cool, but I'm not sure necessarily how this is going to interact in just normal circumstances. Like if your hand is naturally just big, and if you can awaken turn 1, your hand will be naturally big. You're not going to be able to get a lot of benefit off your leader effect. So let's get into more of the stuff that goes in the main deck, apparently this leader. So we've got a 7-drop starter rare exclusive Broly the Ravager, 1-drop 10k, 30k power, crit, activate battle once per turn, burst 3. So interesting to note, that's on both players' turns. Activate battle, middle top 3 of your deck. Your opponent discards a card from their hand. Pretty cool. If your opponent has to swing into this, or your opponent, you know, swings in general, and this card's still on the board, they're losing cards. So that's pretty cool. Ditch 1 on your turn, ditch 1 on your opponent's turn. And I know there's ways to cheat this out, which we'll get into. Broly rushing 4th. So we got a 4-drop 20k, 5k combo. More critical. So a lot of the old Broly stuff focuses on double strike and hitting for big damage. This stuff focuses on crit, probably a little bit better at limiting the hand size of the opponent. So when this card's removed from play from a battle area by a skill or KO'd, so if it dies by battle or an effect, so even if it gets banished or warped, it looks like it still triggers. Choose 2 cards from your hand, place them in the drop area. If you do, choose up to 1 green Broly with energy cost of 7 from your hand and play it. So that's what I was talking about before, how they kind of spam from the hand, and this card has to ditch 2 in order to summon that 7-drop Broly. So your hand will probably remain low. I don't know if that's going to actually be such a great thing for the deck going forward, but you know, time will tell, of course. The super combo, absolutely insane. It's actually pretty interesting that it's a starter exclusive. So this falls in line with something like a Chain Attack Trunks, right? This is the first time a super combo, I believe, has been a starter exclusive or exclusive of any kind. And you know, Chain Attack Trunks still has some value because it's still, you know, like a $5-ish card. This card being an amazing green super combo, being a starter deck exclusive, going to be a big reason to buy this structure deck. So you combo this card. If your leader's green, your life's at 4 or less, you draw 2 and then send 1 from your hand to the warp. So what's really cool, this is like a slightly better Hoi because you do get to see those 2 cards and then decide what you want to warp. So just getting better options, more options is just really good. Then we have the Chile Frieza Force Soldier, another starter exclusive. When you play this card, draw 1 card, typical cantrip, activate main, pay 1 green, 1 colorless, choose up to 1 green Frieza Army card with energy cost 2 or less from your deck, play it, shuffle your deck. So you have a bunch of ways to 2-drop the 1-drop Broly, which we'll see a little bit later, and a couple other good cards from the deck. I believe this will also get the Chile feature rare, which we'll see later. Limo, Frieza Force Soldier, activate main once per turn, so you might want to be able to do this multiple times with different copies of Limo. Activate main once per turn, 1 green, choose 1 card from your hand, place in a drop area, choose 1 Chile BR with energy cost 2 less from your deck, play it, shuffle your deck. So this kind of allows you to spam, you know, different guys onto the board. So the Chile looks like it can get this Limo, then the Limo can get the 2-drop, potentially the feature rare Chile or any other Chile they decide to print. And you got a 15k beater for a 2-drop, definitely not something to laugh at. And it gives you fodder for your leader to kind of tribute off when he gets to his awakened side. So you get, you know, an ability to get a decently big board on the unawakened side, and then when you flip over, you're limited, but you still get to make some pretty nutty plays. Okay, so now we have these yellow Gokus that are also coming in the starter deck. When I read these at first, I wasn't really sure what to think about them, but they seem a little weird, but we'll see. So a 4-drop 10k seems really, really strange. Let's read what it does. Permanent. If your opponent has 4 or more cards in rest mode, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 3. So it becomes a 1-drop if your opponent has a lot of things rested. Not really too hard to accomplish, you know, especially like, you know, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5 if they've swung some battle cards. When you play this card, you cannot play Son Goku time to fight for the duration of the turn. Activate main. Place this card in the owner's drop area. Choose 1 green or yellow Saiyan with an energy cost 3 or less and 10k power or less from your drop area and play it in rest mode. And you can only play battle cards that are green or yellow and no other color for duration of the turn. This is really, really interesting. I don't necessarily know like what this is meant to synergize with. I mean, we have the Vegeta coming up in a minute, but it's a pretty generic effect, but it only gets from drop area, so it's you've had to have grinded it out with your opponent for a bit to really see, you know, what this thing will do. Let's read what the Vegeta does. Vegeta time to fight. 4-drop 15k, a little stronger than Goku, pretty cool. Blocker and permanent. If your opponent has 4 or more cards in rest mode, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 3. I'm not sure what these cards are doing, honestly. I'm pretty sure that new Gogeta leader only searches red Gokus and Vegetas as well, so I'm not even sure this will even do anything for that archetype, but I digress. And then the God Destruction Whis, we have another offensive energy hate card. I'm pretty sure every color will get one of these at some point. And then the Beerus. When you play this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode with energy cost 2 or less and KO it. It's okay. It's decent. Now we'll get into the spoiled set 6 stuff. Everyone asks why they spoiled set 6 stuff so early. Kind of weird, but it looks like they're going to try to hype up the new Broly movie, so they wanted to let you guys see what was coming out. Kind of cool, kind of weird, you know. It's Bandai. So Broly, Berserker Origin. Let's see what he does. 4-drop 15k. A little small for a 4-drop. Activate battle once per turn. Choose 1 card from your hand, place it in the drop area. So again, like synergizing with that leader effect, keeping your hand relatively small. I guess you can draw back up to 6. So choose 1 card from your hand, place it in the drop area. Choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards, energy cost 3 or less, and KO it. Auto, when this card's removed from battle area by skill or KO'd. If your leader card is a green Frieza Army card, you may choose 2 cards from your hand, place them in your drop area. If you do so, choose up to 1 green Broly with energy cost of 6 from your hand and play it. So again, that same type of spam kind of thing. You're having to ditch cards to do that, but you're going to draw so many cards on basically your turn 1, turn 2 in that deck. So let's see. Broly, Unrealized Ambition. He just looks like a total savage here. Kind of cool. I'm so excited to see this movie. So 1 drop, 10k. It's a big body for a 10k. We see that with like Bardock the Progenitor, able to do some just some spammy aggro plays. I don't necessarily think we'll see that with this green deck, but we'll see. Auto. When you play this card from your hand, if your leader card is a green Frieza Army, choose 2 cards from your life, add them to your hand. So you get that immediate draw 2. When this card is removed from a battle area by a skill or KO'd, if your leader card is a green Frieza Army card, choose 1 or 2 cards from your life, add them to your hand, then choose a 1 green Broly with energy cost 4 from your hand and play it. So that's that thing I was talking about. You basically awaken on turn 1 or turn 2. The only thing is, I really can't see your opponent removing this thing from the board for you, and you can't necessarily combo it away in order to do it. You may have to jump through some hoops in order to get this thing KO to trigger its effect. I gotta see. I don't quite remember if there's anything in the archetype does it itself, but we'll see as we keep going on. But this card is pretty nuts. A great starter for the deck. Paragus, Deadly Premonition. When you play this card from your hand, look up to 5 cards top of your deck. Choose 1 Broly BR among them, add it to your hand, then shuffle the deck. When this card is removed from play from the battle area by a skill, and if your leader card is green Frieza Army, choose 1 energy and switch it to active mode. Interesting. You know, searches some Brolys. Ties that bind Ba. Now this is really interesting. This is a character I haven't even seen in any of the trailers for the movie or anything like that. So let's see what he's all about. 1 drop, 5k. Activate main. Place a card in the drop area. Choose 1 Broly BR, the energy cost of 1 in drop area, and play it. Pretty interesting. Broly Control Mechanism. Places it's a field spell, so you place it in the field area. Place this card known as drop area. Choose 1 Broly card in your battle area. Place it in the drop area. Draw 1. Okay, so that's the way you're going to proc your own Broly effect. So you play the 1 Broly that rips 2 life. It's probably going to live for a turn. Your opponent's not really going to want to deal with it. You play the field spell down. You sack the field spell, which is pretty interesting. And then you replace the field spell by drawing a card, and you blow up the Broly, and then the Broly's effect triggers and all that good stuff. So this can actually be used to trigger any of your Broly effects, it looks like. So you can, you know, self-sack your Brolys this way. It is going to be a clunky field spell, though. Like kind of the problem that the current set 1 Broly kind of deals with Ring, but I digress. Wrathful Charge, counterattack. If your leader is green, negate the attack. Then you may choose 1 battle card, 1 of your battle cards, place in the drop area, so you can proc 1 of your Brolys that way. If you do, your opponent chooses 1 card from the hand, place in the drop area. So again, with that theme of ditching, from my initial thoughts on the set 6 spoilers and the starter deck spoilers, it looks like you're gonna have to neg yourself too much to get your plays off. So that Broly 1 drop is really good. Basically draws 4 cards on its own. But then at that point, you're ditching so much to keep ranking up, and it's pretty weird, not gonna lie. Maybe the fact that your leader can constantly drop to 6 is really good. It might show they actually really play tested this deck and this archetype, but I don't know if sitting at a hand of 6 the entire game is necessarily going to really get you there and kind of help you play a longer game. But we'll read the yellow Broly leader as well, which is coming out in a promo pack. So Broly, Frieza Army, and the other one is Frieza Army as well. So that's really interesting to note that they can both play Cold Bloodlust, which we'll talk a little bit about later. When this card attacks, choose 1 card from your life, add it to your hand. If you do, draw 1 card. So he's one of those leaders that we saw kind of with a skill from the draft box. Awaken, your life's 4 or less. Choose 2 energy, switch to active mode. I like that they gave him that ability to untap 2. It's really good. And then Broly the Awakened Threat. Auto, when this card attacks, draw 1. Activate main. Once per turn, choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards, switch to rest mode. That's just a really solid effect. I mean, you tap down anything. It could be a blocker that's going to prevent you from going for game. You know, a lot of people like to play free blockers to get around certain things. That's just really good in general. It allows you to make, you know, things your opponent doesn't want you to swing at. You can swing at them, basically. Activate main, once per turn. Choose 1 card from your life, add it to your hand. Choose 1 of your opponent's cards in rest mode. Choose up to 1 of your cards in rest mode, switch to active mode. That effect is absolutely insane. And the fact that you actually get to draw the life instead of crit the life, this might have been a better balanced effect if you had to crit the life. But I digress. Really good. So we bump over to Shenron's Lair here. I got a couple cards I want to talk about. I got this nifty little image of the Black Broly leader. One day he'll get the support he deserves. But a couple cards that are going to be pretty nutty with this leader. So Mirror Creator Absorbed is going to be nuts with a Broly the Awakened Threat. I mean, it's just, you can let it swing twice, and it's worded in such a way that when it swings twice, it will gain the attack on both swings from everything that's in your warp. So this thing will just swing for ginormous damage, and like my teammate Pat O'Neill talked about in his video of what he thinks should be banned in this game, this card is just so busted, and it really circumvents one of the most skillful parts of the game, which is comboing. So that's going to be a nifty combo with this Broly Awakened Threat. That's going to be nuts. It's also, like I did mention before, that you can play it with this leader as well. You just dump everything into it to force damage through, and then you draw back up 6 new cards, and since you comboed everything, your sparking should be live again. Not necessarily sure how great of a combo that's going to be because, like I said before, playing on 6 cards in hand after that, pretty tough to like stay alive and also pretty tough to force more damage through. So then we have like the Bardock Goten. We put out a deck profile a couple days ago that showcased a deck with Broly the Awakened Threat. So this, like I said, this thing can kind of promote aggro really well. Even though you don't have access to Unyielding Spirit Trunks, you do have ways to make your battle cards swing a lot. So instead of just summoning Bardocks on your Awakened side and taking life, you can, use that life to make your attacks swing again and get you more cards. You swing with Gotens again, you get even more cards. You swing with Mirror, you push more damage through. Swing with like a Monkey to swing for 2 double strikes or a Scientist Fu. It gets really, really nuts. And then you've got, of course, Shugesh. Skipping over bullets for a second, you've got Shugesh in that same leader, which is also insane. I think that Shugesh leaders aren't being played a lot right now, which by Shugesh leaders I basically mean yellow leaders, outside of like U7 Victory Strike, which even lately hasn't seen too much play. They're just not great enough. They're not good enough to compete with like something like Hirudegarn or Shenron or a lot of the other blue leaders like Krillin, things like that. But I think this is one of the leaders that can definitely compete coming into the next set. You've got crazy advantage on the front side. You've got some pretty awesome effects on the back side. So, and at any point where you have a great yellow leader that's probably going to play a Saiyan main deck, there doesn't seem to be main deck cards that particularly go with this leader, so it seems like a pretty generic leader to start. And Shugesh is definitely going to be a good card in that deck. I mean, a 2-up Shugesh, a lot of people cutting Cronoas in place of the 1-drop Black Mass Saiyan, which can still hit Shugesh. However, it doesn't turn off Shugesh. So at the point of ditching 2, sometimes it's going to be worth it to get that Shugesh in. But who knows, maybe people start playing Cronoa again if that card gets out of hand. Then we have Cold Bloodlust, applicable to both leaders, Broly the Awakened Threat and the Broly Evil Unleashed. The fact that these 2 leaders can play that card is absolutely nuts. I mean, there is plenty of deflect in the game and Achilles don't exist, but even besides that fact, Cold Bloodlust is one of the best cards in the game, solely because it's one of the only cards that does what it does, which is negate skills when cards come into play, which is so strong. I mean, your opponent, Scientist Fu, Cold Bloodlust. Your opponent, Gogeta, a 5-drop, Bloodlust. It's just so impactful. You take skills away from things that are going to really turn around the tide of the game. It's so good. And both these leaders having access to that is really good. I will say, though, one weakness these leaders are going to have, which any green and yellow leader usually run into problems with, is going to be Haru Haru. Haru Haru, another card that my teammate Pat said that should be banned realistically in this game, and I kind of agree with him. It's just so strong against yellow and green leaders because you just get free energy back and you drop big crit threats that pressure them. It can get out of hand that way as well, but you do have Bloodlust to answer that, so might not be too big of a problem. So with that being said, my opinions on these leaders: I think this leader is going to be very good just because of the fact that it can do insane things like restand ginormous beaters and tap down opponents' things when you just don't want to deal with them. Really good. Gains massive advantage on the front side. Broly Evil Unleashed will also gain massive advantage on the front side. Its Unawaken effect basically forces you to start on curve, which is super duper good. However, it just seems weird on the backside because of all the main deck stuff. You're constantly having to ditch your own hand. And like I said before, playing at 6 is not a huge number to play at. But my opinions on that, if you guys disagree with me, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think, how Broly is going to impact the Dragon Ball Super card game when he is released. Let me know what you guys think about that. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. With that being said, my name is Joey. This is Carlton TCG, and I will see you next time.